Good morning, garden friends. Today I am heading over to a local gardener's to check out her hillside garden. As I have stated before, no matter what level of gardening you are at, you can learn something from someone. And I am finding that being able to talk to different gardeners is beneficial, and that is why I am sharing these one-on-one discussions with you. So come along with me as we go and visit Dawn's hillside garden. As I stated, I'm going to be having a conversation with Dawn of a twisted vine garden design. With gardening, it's all about learning from each other.
Absolutely.
So wanted to ask you, just, tell us a little bit about yourself, when you got into gardening, how did it evolve into
My little empire. Well, actually, it's a good story because I would never think in my life I would ever be this I'm at now. I was a graphic artist, and so we bought this house, one shovel at a time, and I'm like, I kind of like this. I didn't know anything about plants. I started taking classes, and I got addicted to it. It's addicting. It is addicting.
It is.
And I started at the bottom. I knew that I would have to start at the bottom if I wanted to make a living out of it. So I started cutting grass for, better companies around here. And I got so addicted to this. Everything you see basically is what I've collected, what I've gotten off of my jobs. I've never bought, like, I'm going to go buy a bunch of shrubs and put in it. Even the rocks, I got them off of jobs. I go off in the woods and dig them out, just whatever. And that's how it started. And now I've got my own business, and I do a lot of seasonal color. That's mainly how it started. And then I thought, well, I can't do seasonal colors. I do it about 13 weeks out of the year, because in the summer you can't plant really.
Right.
Winter, of course, is done. So I prune. I do a lot of pruning. And here I am. Can't wait for the next day. Every day I'm doing something different in my career. So you're right. You learn things. And another thing I've noticed about going to people's gardens, it doesn't matter what it looks like. You learn something.
Yes.
And I've been to a lot of gardens. Garden tours, not in Europe, but across the United States. And it's interesting because everybody's got a story. Everybody has a story. You start somewhere. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not afraid. If it doesn't work, I yank it.
Yeah. And that's so true when it comes to gardening. It is being creative, and like you said, finding things to incorporate into your garden. I know just this past week went to Lowe's, and in their clearance section, cleaned up. And if individuals saw the plants, they'd be like, why are you spending money on that? But once you get it cleaned up and you baby them, you can end up transforming those plants into, beautiful accents in your garden. So I'm looking at your garden, and guys, when you guys see this, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
And so when you say, as far as just how you went from the printing, and then your evolution of becoming and loving gardening, how long have you had your company?
I've been doing Twisted Vines since 2005, incorporated in 2005. And like I said, it started out seasonal color. I do seasonal color for landscapers, landscaping companies that offer it, but they don't have the manpower to do it. I turnkey the whole job. Yeah. So when I started this garden, it was first a specimen garden. If I can't plant it in somebody else's yard, I had to plant it here first.
Yes.
That was the first thing. And that's when it evolved into what I have. And then I noticed that, like I said, you learn what to and what not. And this goes for my clients too. When I'm designing a bed, it's easier on paper, but in reality, you've got to know your site, you've got to know your soil, of course. Forget the rest of the, first is soil. Like, you've got to have a lot of air in between your plants.
Circulation.
Thank you there. Sorry, circulation. But your soil, air circulation, and environment. That is your first three things. And then you go on from there.
Yeah.
Of course, what the customer likes, what the customer doesn't like. But I usually don't let them choose because they hired me.
Right.
That's where you get in trouble.
That was going to be my next question, because, a lot of times individuals will have an idea of what they like or want, but not realizing, like you said, those three key things of, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense to plant this here. And like you said, you wouldn't want to plant a shade plant in full sun because now you wasted your money. So like I said, that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, do you end up getting or finding pushback when you are, designing someone's garden?
Well, it's not as easy as you think, because another thing that goes along with the soil is the drainage. And that's another issue, the bigger issue. A lot of these new homes have no drainage.
Yeah.
Well, you and I both know you can't plant in sod. So you have to work the soil. If you have to make a raised bed, that's fine. If you have to make a dry creek bed, that's fine too. But that's the first thing I tell people. Be prepared. Your money is in the ground. What you do in the ground is like a cake. It's the cake batter that makes, you can decorate it beautifully.
Yeah.
But you got to have that flavor. You got to have that substance.
Yeah.
And that's your soil. And it takes years.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have years for these folks, and I understand. So I start from the bottom, take baby steps.
Yeah.
And that's the way I operate. I'll take baby steps with them. Let's say we'll plant an azalea hedge. That's basic. And then we go from there.
Right.
Give it a couple of years, and then we move on.
Right.
And that's why I have the clientele that I have, because they know I'm working with them.
Right.
And if they're patient with me, I'll do whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a real special thing to do.
Yeah, I know even, with moving down here, getting accustomed to this Georgia clay. Okay, no joke, coming from up north, you had that nice rich soil, and then coming down here. So what do you do to amend the soil?
Well, I have a compost pile. And let me tell you, that compost pile is not instant gratification either. It takes years. Finally, I'm able to use it. And it took about 5 to 10 years to get what I wanted. So you have to dig through to get to the bottom. And I use a lot of cow manure, and I use a lot of mushroom compost. And I got a little tiller.
Okay.
And I till. And yeah, I do that. And it takes a little while, but like I said, if you don't have good soil, you don't have good drainage, forget it. It doesn't matter what kind of plant you have. You can have any kind of plant, but you'd be surprised.
Do you use any type of fertilizer?
I do use Osmocote for triple 14 in the summer. I use a little bit different in the pansy season because the pansies need a boost of fertilizer, but in the wintertime they've got to kind of rest, and that's the special formulated. But basically it's Osmocote, it's triple 14.
Okay.
They come in all different kinds of companies and so on. Now, another thing I use on my azaleas, acidic plants, is Espoma hollytone.
Oh, okay.
You can't fail. You can't fail. You can't burn it. It's the best thing. I think Espoma products, they make berries, they make soil acidifiers, they make it all.
Yeah. Now I do use their line for
Your line?
yes, and also their rose tone, their blood meal. And then also the bone meal. I use a mixture of their products. So and that's the thing. When you find something good, stick with it.
Don't change.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody says. And I'll tell you what, you got to know. Go with what you know. But that's the thing I don't skimp on. The plants, like I said, if it doesn't work, it's out of here. And that's not, it could be a plant that should be the right thing for the right application, but that's not always true.
Yeah.
This is real life. This is a plant. It's like a person almost.
Yeah.
Another problem I see, people watering their plants in full sun because they wilt.
Yeah.
But they wilt because the sun's on them.
Yeah.
You will too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, water hose you down, and you're not going to be very happy.
Yeah. Well, you went into something because I mean, like you said, when it comes to gardening, it's trial and error. You know, one thing that I have noticed down here, that if the plant says it'll get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, here down in Georgia, it's 3 to 5 foot wide. So you have to be aware of your environment to know that, yeah, the premise behind what they have listed is probably factual, you know, in other zones and what have you.
Exactly.
But when it comes to, you know, Georgia, it's because we have like the longer seasons, and it gives, you know, the plants a longer time to grow and develop and what have you.
And if you prune them, I think the more you prune, the bigger they get.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, you know what, Dawn? I'm like excited about walking through your garden, and you just, you know, telling us a little bit about the plants that you have here. How long have they, you know, been here, and what's your favorite?
All right, here's my gig. Every year, it's a different. I'm on the lookout for. I want to see about this. One year it was the euphorbia family.
Oh God, I love this.
One year it was the agave family, and you'll see that. We had a bad drought in 2007, and so I'm thinking, you know, instead of seasonal color, I can plant succulents that have color, and it'll work. And it pulled off.
Yeah.
And then I got addicted to that. And I love, of course, I like your black-eyed Susans and your staple plants. Right. So I like all plants.
Yeah.
You can't ask me that, because one day I'll tell you one thing, and the next day I'll tell you another.
Okay, so what would you say has been your most challenging plant, flower, shrub that you've ever had to work with?
Angelonia. I don't understand, and petunias, but I know that petunias, you cut them back in Memorial Day because they bloom out. And I know they've made better varieties now. Petunias are a challenge because you have to cut them back and fertilize them. But Angelonia does the same thing. I think you have, but it's a beautiful plant when you plant it.
Yeah.
It's an impulse plant.
Yeah.
I do plant it here because I need to know.
Yeah.
As you probably know that.
Yes, I do. You know, so like I said, beautiful, but can be challenging to stay on top of it. You know I don't like mine when they get leggy, so I'm trimming mine probably excessively, but I have like a really nice hedge of the petunias, you know.
Yeah,
so
I've seen
yeah. So all right, well, let's take a walk through this garden of yours. Okay,
like I said, we bought the house. This was a square concrete. This, from that trellis to the driveway, as you can see, there was the square. It was all concrete. Well, I got 3 guys to help me move the concrete, and I had these rocks from, you know, collecting them, and I made this little rock wall, and that was a long time ago. It was probably 2005.
Nice.
And from that point on, this is what I have. That agave, I planted that about 3 winters ago because I had no room for it in the back, and I had a feeling it would make it.
Right.
We don't have the best winters for this kind of stuff, but it can work.
Yeah.
You have to, again, have drainage. So this is kind of like the little agave area with the succulents.
Nice.
I made it. It's a blue agave, a blue Americana agave, and, you know, with the Delasporum, looks good.
Yep.
Thyme from a job. These guys, pineapple lily. I love pineapple lily.
Oh, wow.
How stately is that?
Oh, that is nice. Now, I see little buds on there. Will those bloom?
That is the bloom.
Oh, okay.
The total package.
Oh, that is so unique.
Yeah, and they stand up too, and they behave themselves. I don't have to stake them. Staking is important. As you can see with these guys, we've had a lot of hard rain. I've just, you know, and you're in a hurry. You do whatever you can to get them straight.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
The lily orientalis
okay.
mixed in here. And these are Casablanca lilies, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The orientalis over there. It's
Okay.
wonderful. And of course, I'm not a rose person, but you gotta have it. Zebion rose. It blooms. It has one big thing, and then it keeps going through the summer. But the problem is, it rained a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't like a lot of rain. And it's old. It's very old.
Oh, wow.
I think that's the oldest plant in here.
Yeah.
Of course, you gotta have coneflower. Oliver's root is the white one, and you don't see that very often. And that's another thing I found out between the time I started gardening until now. You can't seem to plant what you think you used to plant.
Uh-huh.
Poppies, forget it. You can in the fall, and they'll come up,
Yeah.
but they don't last. Perennials only last 2 to 3 weeks in Georgia. There you go. And about another, at the end of the month, these are going to be starting to turn into seeds for the birds.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Birds are good.
Yep.
Over here, these are all cedars from last year and the year before that and the year before that. Black-eyed Susan vines.
Oh, wow. I've never seen a vine for the black-eyed Susies. Oh, I love that.
Well, they come in colors, as a matter of fact. And if I'm lucky, oh, it bloomed out. But I have this one here, and it's red.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
So what is this?
that's a hibiscus.
Oh.
That's a pink hibiscus, and once you have it, you can't dig it up. It's hard.
Oh, I love it.
It's got
The
a-
burgundy leaves are beautiful.
That's the ticket. This is supposed to, this is blue, and these are burgundy, so it's a good combination.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all about combinations too.
Yeah.
That's Magnolia vine, and it's not very behaving, but we like it because it covers up the trellis, and it's really pretty.
Uh-huh. Now,
and-
does it get the magnolia flowers on it?
No, it gets little red berries.
Oh.
I don't know why they call it a magnolia vine, but I got that a long time ago also. This nursery in Palmetto. This vine is what I named my company after. Vines are my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Claridendrum.
Yep.
That's a vine. That'll go.
Okay, so wait a minute. Is that what this is?
Yeah, that's claridendrum.
Oh my God, that's so pretty. And you're right. It's about the
I
combination.
think the DNAs are getting better on plants in a lot of ways, but I have found that some plants that they introduce, they haven't tested them well enough to put in the garden, but they have to produce it to get it out.
Yeah.
So that's where I come in. I'm their tester.
Okay.
And this is a cool little thing. This is a elephant ear.
Oh, that's pretty.
Royal Hawaiian. I like that. That's just new to me.
Yeah.
I mean-
Coleus and lantana.
Spurge. That's a succulent. This is a succulent.
Nice.
Another pineapple lily. This is another variety of it. As you can see, the rain kind of smashed everything. This guy here.
Nice.
It's a mini. The rain smashed my cinnamon fern, so I'm sorry that this isn't beautiful.
No.
Sticking up. But pineapple lily.
Look how tiny that is. I so love those. Oh.
Well, the pineapple lily, I don't know how it got over there too.
Oh, wow. Really? Maybe a bird picked a seed and
A
dropped
bird
it.
picked the seed. It sure did. And this is a Pinus orientalis, a nice pine. Is it too big for the spot? Yeah. Was it when I bought it? No. Do I want to dig it up? No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful, but I plant these in planters in the fall for people.
Yeah, I love that chartreuse color.
It does chartreuse, especially in the fall and the winter. And when the spring comes, these things just go, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's
Nice.
It's like the chartreuse city. Let me tell you about my trees. We had pine trees. One right here, 3 here, 2 in the park. We call this area the park. We couldn't grow grass, so I planted 1 year mondo. And this mondo took off, and it went all over. What happened? We had that winter,
Yeah.
and it froze. It zapped it.
Wow.
So I have a project going on now. But it's okay because you learn. This is how you learn.
Yep.
This is an arrowhead viburnum. As you can see, it gets little berries on it. This is its 2nd year. I'm excited because now this plant will get huge. That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll cover this up.
Yeah.
That's where another learning curve is. This plant I know will get big.
Yeah.
That's a viburnum also. That plant I had to move when they cut down our pine trees.
Okay.
And it transplanted pretty well. It gets berries and it's orange in the fall.
Okay.
Beautiful plant. Blackberry lily just walked over here.
That's funny.
Contorted filbert. That's a cool plant. When I was working in the company I used to cut grass for, she had a nursery, and that was 1 gallon. That's a 20. Well,
wow.
Yeah, over 25 years old maybe. But it's huge. But I love it. We love it. And believe it or not, yes, it has suckers on it, but it doesn't get much bigger. It can get taller, as you can see, but I cut it because I like to look out the window. Now, that's my trademark. If people like Japanese maples, I try to turn them.
Oh, okay.
That's another thing. I like different.
Yeah.
Yopon hollies, they got their place. Boxwoods, I love. They're easy, but I try to plant things that people will come by and go, wow, what's that?
Yeah.
That's what I like to
Yeah.
do. That's how I've always been. That's my personality. And here's my foe.
Oh, yeah.
I did the right steps. I took that the plunge. I planted. These are yellow, and I fertilized them last week, and I cut them back. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
These lilies have not bloomed yet, and I'm not know why, but I'm glad because it gives me something. Where these are just overseeded hellebores.
Yes, I love hellebores.
Oh, that's the best perennial in Georgia.
It is.
That and autumn ferns. You
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
And I just got an autumn fern.
No.
Yes, I did. Yes, just got one.
If I'd known that, I'd fix you up.
Oh,
Negotiana.
this is so beautiful.
That's Negotiana. It's starting to bloom. That gets very tall.
Okay.
This was where the pine tree was, because I was just going to plant big things here, but I made lemonade out of it. Just put a bunch of soil on it, compost, tilled it in, and these are perennials. Except for here.
What's that? What looks like got string beans on it?
That string bean is Armisona, and it's blue flowers in the spring. Blue, I mean blue like this. And it turns chartreuse yellow in the fall.
Oh wow, okay. And this is my other thing, in regards with your gardening. You're like on a hillside, and what challenges do you have?
Let me tell you the challenge we had. If you walk over here, I don't like cut grass. Never did. I don't mind it, but I'd rather weed, if you want to know the truth. So when we had the storm and the lightning hit the pine trees, which caused that, like, Lou, we can't grow grass up there.
Yeah.
Let's just do something else. All these rocks, one Christmas week, this is what I did. This is my Christmas vacation.
Oh wow.
And this is the biggest learning curve I've ever done in my life in gardening. As far as hardscape goes, I think I pulled it off well.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
And pucras have 24-hour color.
Uh-huh.
That's what these are.
Yep.
There you go. And those nandinas up there, the flirt nandina, that's what those are called. They came out. That's an example of they didn't really test it long enough. They're pretty big. They were supposed to stay small.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so I work with them. Miss Schubert viburnum is that big monster right there, and I have pruned that down many times before this season already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's where you live and learn.
Yep.
But it looks okay.
Yeah.
Moving down the line, so this is a hill. We could not grow grass here for anything. Limelights, they take up big space. That
beautiful.
red hibiscus, come on, that's huge. That takes up space. Anything that takes up space covers weeds.
Yeah.
This little beauty, I love this blue. This blue plant, this butterfly bush, Hugster's blue. Dwarf butterfly. How stunning is that?
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
These guys don't, the buddleias do not get huge.
This is the new variety they say does not get huge.
Okay.
And that's true. Although the Christmas freeze, I thought zapped them. But I did what you, in the wintertime around February, you cut back your roses and your buddleias. And they say you don't have to cut them back, but I cut them back anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lantana, red lantana, black-eyed Susans, the elephant ear, and phlox I got from Costco.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were going to get this big.
Nice.
But I'm glad they did. Those guys, oh yeah. This, Pittosporum. Pittosporum. Before you came here, they were this big.
Wow.
They were huge. But again, the Christmas freeze did me a favor. So I literally cut these down to the ground. And I'm really glad I did. I was going to do it anyway. It didn't matter.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to experiment. 10 years ago, you could not plant this plant in Georgia because it didn't make it through the winter.
Okay.
Oh, you could. People got lucky. But you couldn't successfully say, I've got a line of Pittosporum. Well, now you can because of the climate change.
Right.
Pittosporum, podocarpus, you never would see a yard with that in. There you go.
Yeah.
And they got different varieties. Of course, limelight hydrangeas.
Nice.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. I'm seeing on yours too, the pink. Being down here going on 7 years, I could never get them to turn pink. And I think because we've had this reasonable weather of not being like super, super hot and dry, that it's allowing it to turn pink.
This is a variety called Strawberry Delight.
Oh, okay.
But it's not as pink as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But it
It's
is
still
pink.
gorgeous.
They're beautiful. And you know, last year I tried to stake them, but now I don't think so. I like them floppy because it just adds more character.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look, statue.
Yeah.
But I like them now. They cover the weeds, they cover the ground. It looks good.
Yeah.
And with the red, that's...
I know. That's so
That was
beautiful.
That's Cryptomeria, and that was a 1 gallon plant too.
Oh my God.
That, I think I got it at Walmart as a 1 gallon plant. So I experiment. Conifers was another thing in 1 year. You know, it's like every year it's a different plant, like I was saying. And I mean that, but last year it was this.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I had to have it. One of the commercial properties I work at planted it, and I saw it there, and I cut one back. That's how I cheated. I do their seasonal color.
Yeah.
And I saw this, and I'm like, I'm gonna cut it back in February to see what happens, because they didn't cut it back. It worked.
Nice.
So I like that.
Nice.
And that's my front yard.
Well,
It's like-
Dawn, your garden is beautiful.
Why, thank you for stopping by. Come on down anytime.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And textures, layers, you know, because like a lot of times with you, I like the manicured look, but I also like having the varieties where things blend in with each other, you know. I mean, even with your vines that you have, I go and see other gardens, it's like, ooh, I need to get that, you know, because I think it would end up working well within my garden. So this is just beautiful.
You know your plants, it's natural, it comes together.
Yeah.
And like I said, mistakes are made. It doesn't always look good in your garden. It can look good in somebody else's garden, but it doesn't work in yours. Learn from that. You'll find something.
Yeah.
Somebody will come by and say, wow, what's that? Yeah. It's all about learning. Even as a professional, I can tell you, I'm learning. Every time I go into somebody's garden and work weed, I'm learning something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a yellow jacket.
Yeah.
You know, keep away. And this is the time.
Yeah. Okay, so how can people locate you?
I'm word of mouth. One is 404-993-2255. call me. I'm old-fashioned.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
They hire a twisted vine. You're hiring me.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the personalization that I do for people. And that's why I do, and that's what makes me successful.
All right, perfect.
So, there you go.
All right, hope you enjoyed visiting Dawn's garden. Just so beautiful, and the wealth of knowledge that she has. I will put her information in the description. So if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to her. And like I said, the ideal that she has a hillside garden that is just absolutely beautiful. Just a little more of her garden. Charming. It's charming.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And a special thanks to Dawn of A Twisted Vine Garden. If you found this content informative and liked it, please consider subscribing. Have a great day.